Cameron Richardson, NASCAR.com. Chase, 20 years ago, Tony won his first Brickyard 400, and with you coming off 2 runner-up finishes, do you think you can kind of bring in that anniversary, getting your first Brickyard 400 win?
Yeah, it'd definitely be really, really special. I actually texted Tony this week about that. We went to the new museum, and they had that 2005 car over there, and I took a picture of it, and I sent it to him. I said, hopefully another Hoosier can win 20 years later. So, yeah, it would be super, super special. I mean, there'd be nothing like it for me, just from a personal standpoint, than to win this race. So, yeah, we've had a lot of really good momentum these last couple weeks, and hopefully, we can just be one spot better this weekend. Yeah, I definitely will be giving it everything I got, that's for sure.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I think I heard you say in an interview last week at Dover that you had referenced, like, even before that week, you were driving somewhere and started thinking about winning Indy. And again, I know that I'm sure it's always a thought in some sense, but you kind of mentioned it and said it was something that week. And I don't know if that kind of comes to mind, or can you kind of tell me what the situation was and just kind of how something like that popped in your head? Not exactly the week of the event.
Yeah, I was just honestly, I just got done doing Indy Sim, so I was driving home and just kind of running laps through my head, and yeah, just kind of, I've never really thought about winning a race before, but it was just kind of like imagining what it would be like to win here and do it in the Brickyard 400. And I'd watched Tony's race the night before, like just randomly on YouTube, and just watching his celebration and everything. I just kind of put myself in that moment, just as an Indiana guy. It's just different. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I just thought about it. I mean, it was a quick 20-second thought, but yeah, I just got goosebumps literally as I was driving down the road thinking about it. And I've never thought about winning a race before, so yeah, hopefully you can do it. It would, like I keep saying, it would just be so special to me to be able to win here and do it in the Brickyard 400. And I think some of the reason, I've probably thought about it a little bit more, is just this is the first, real time. Last year was only the first Brickyard 400 I've actually ran, but I knew going into it my shots of winning were probably not very high, just with the equipment and everything, where now I feel like I have a real legitimate shot. So it's just put things kind of into perspective a little bit more.
And look, I know so many things are happening inside the car, but I think back to the road course race where you thought you were going to have the lead and everything went south quickly. But in that moment, with so much going on, do you have a moment of thinking, hey, I'm about to win this race at this track, even though it was the road course? Or I know so much was happening in a short time, but in that event, but for how much this place means, and you say not thinking about winning a race in a sense.
Yeah, I think, when you go back to that 2020 race, obviously it was a super intense battle, right? And I think it was with 4 or 5 to go when I made the mistake, and I was so caught up in the pressure of the moment, and just trying too hard. And then once I lost the lead, you can kind of go back and watch the race, and you can just see a different style of driving. I felt like those last 3 or 4 laps, and I was so determined that there was no way I could live with myself if I threw it away like that. And obviously was able to get back and win the race. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely, outside of that, that's the only time I've ever felt like I could win the race here, right? Other times I've not really been even in position to do it. So it's just different this time around, coming here in a JGR car and knowing that I know I'm going to be in the mix on Sunday. It's just a matter of doing everything on my end, and hopefully, I can do that to the best of my ability.
Stephen Toronto, CBS Sports. Chase, you talked about coming into this race having more of a belief this time around that you can win the Brickyard 400. How much does the win at Pocono, or how much did it kind of embolden that belief and validate that you could come to, I don't know if you want to call Indianapolis a similar racetrack to Pocono, but that you could come here and pull it off like you pulled it off there?
Not a whole lot, truthfully. I mean, certainly if you're going to say, hey, pick a track most similar to Indy, I mean, Pocono is the only one that you could even maybe draw slight comparisons to, but it's still so drastically different. Just because you were good at Pocono doesn't mean you're going to be good here, vice versa. So, yeah, I don't think that really made a lot of a difference maker for me, just feeling like I have a legitimate shot here. I think it's more so just I'm in a JGR car, and their stuff's really honestly good everywhere we go, where I'm glad that I was able to run one Brickyard 400 in the 14 car. I mean, for me, that was a dream come true in itself. but I would much rather win the race, right? And it was just going to be an uphill battle at SHR. I mean, it's no secret that our stuff was off and not where it needed to be. And, now coming here and, one of the powerhouse organizations, I know I'm going to be in the mix just like typically everywhere else we go. So I think that's where a lot of the belief kind of came from.